we also see brands working on their own image and their general branding through partnerships with influencers. And so depending on the size and the capability of creators, there's many opportunities to be monetizing.
We also quantify the artist popularity so the artists can know where their fans are and how much they are popular in this city.
People who are really high performing and have really high potential, it doesn't matter how small or large they are, the algorithm helps them come out. It treats it as a meritocracy.
Hello and welcome to Connected. I'm Divya Gopalan. So, have you heard of Mr. Beast, KSI, Charli D'Amelio, or the Paul brothers? If not, then you better learn their names fast or you'll seem out of touch. They are among the top 10 creators of 2023 according to Forbes magazine. And their numbers are astounding. Added up, their influence reaches almost 1 billion followers, earning them more than $310 million US. In fact, Mr. Beast alone, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, had a total of 312 million followers and $82 million US in earnings last year. He is the poster child for a creator economy that has become a force in the world of marketing and consumer brands while opening a new frontier for startups. And to help us understand the power of creators and shed light on generating revenue through audiences, with us today are Hami Kim, who is based in the world's K-pop capital, Seoul, but joins us today from Hong Kong. She's the founder and CEO of Kooky, a fan community platform with 1.6 million users worldwide. And here in Taipei, we have Clayton Jacobs. He is the co-founder and CEO of the influencer marketing startup CreatorDB. In fact, Forbes named him among the 30 under 30 most notable people in Asia. Very impressive. Thank you both for joining us. It is great to have you on the program. Now, your companies harness the popularity of pop artists and influencers to drive new revenue models and connect with major brands. So I'm going to start with you, Clayton, here. Monetizing audiences to most, I guess, to industry and businesses is a fairly new concept. Can you tell us how that works? And then also tell us how you started this business and decided that this was a good model for you.
Absolutely. So I think that the way that a lot of businesses are starting to see influencers or creators, as we like to call them, is a similar way to a distribution channel that you could have had traditionally in marketing for a very long time. It's access to a specific demographic of individuals who happen to be consuming that type of content. And so monetizing them has actually been a really fast developing process because there's so much value for various brands at all different stages, whether we're talking SMEs or very large enterprises. In fact, we often see multiple types of marketing in this space. We see people who are trying to push for sales, who are trying to push for direct ROI, and we also see brands working on their own image and their general branding through partnerships with influencers. And so depending on the size and the capability of creators, there's many opportunities to be monetizing.
And why did you decide to go down this route?
Because for what we saw, actually my background is more in data science and engineering. And we're trying to create a more efficient economy because we see how effective small and medium influencers are. In fact, there is a linear correlation, or I should say a negative correlation, with the increasing in size of a creator and the level of engagement that their audience has. And so you're better off working and spending money with these small and medium creators, but it can be quite troublesome to be bunching together, hundreds of individuals, because that's what creators are. They are individuals, even as marketing channels. And so we wanted to build our systems and build our company around the idea of connecting more small and medium businesses to more small and medium creators.
Right. And Hami, tell us a little bit about your company and why you decided that this was a good option for you.
So Kooky is basically the fan communities for international K-pop fans who want to be connected and who want to support their favorite artist. For me personally, I started this business because my background was music industry, and I also did some write songs and also release my albums. So I thought that this has been a gap between the audience and the fans who we call them like the more engaged audience. So I think the audience itself has even the artists have large audience. It doesn't like equate to, the financial success. So I mean, even I think the K-pop is the most like industry that we can highlight this change, this like difference. So even the artists have a larger audience. The thing that important is that he or she have to have a like more loyal and engaged fans. So the Kooky is focusing on how the artist can change the existing audience to loyal fans, and also we make the artists know where their fans are and also how can they increase the engagement.
So in that sense, how do fans then fit into this monetization or generate the income?
Yeah, sure. So the fans, they can have their like communities so that they can interact with each other and they can meet like-minded fans in our Kooky community. So it makes them to like group their communities so that they can increase the like how they want to be connected with artists by having their own community and having their own events in different cities. I mean that the Kooky, we have fans, more like engaged fans, so that they can be connected, so they can like, have their own like events, so that they can send their like engagement to the artist. So because artists should have their fans, and they don't have any access to fan where their fans are, but we make fans create their own event and post their own content in communities so that they can like keep their love and keep their engagement in our platform as well.
That's very interesting. Let me bring your attention to some other staggering figures here. 250 billion US dollars. That's the total addressable market in 2023 for the creator economy. It is expected to double in just 4 years, reaching 480 billion US dollars by 2027. Now, influencer marketing will fuel much of that growth. In the US alone, influencer marketing spending on the major platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube exceeded $6 billion last year, and it's forecast to surpass $7 billion in 2024. In fact, it has grown at an average rate of 26% each year for the past 5 years. Now, Clayton, fast growth brings fast changes. So what are some of the biggest changes you have seen in the market for creators over the past few years? And how does CreatorDB in particular keep up with that?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of fast growth as well as changing economic times. When things are getting more difficult for the tech stocks in the US and for the general fundraising for private companies, we see brands especially be much more careful in terms of where their marketing spend is generally going. And so we see them be much more focused on performance marketing type. So really wanting to see results as opposed to treating creators as some sort of experimental form of marketing. We're seeing it really come down to building a core strategy and sticking to it. And so I think that some of the biggest opportunities that's coming out of this fast growth is still for the small and medium creators that we like to work with at CreatorDB, because all of a sudden this supplemental income, this side hustle, this whatever you want to call it, is being able to generate a very significant sum of income, regardless if the person is based in US or even other countries, as many American and European companies are looking abroad as a way to be doing market entry through creators themselves.
Right. Hami, I want to pick up on something you said. You sang and produced a song that streamed into the millions, I believe. Can you tell us a little bit about that song first?
Yeah, sure. The song was, it streamed over 1 million times, but I only got around 200 US dollars. So, which was not very great. So I thought that, it was kind of like good experience for me, that because there were a lot of like artists around me. So I thought that, and I struggled where my fans are and how many fans are there. So I wanted to keep the journey, but I thought that it is very hard to continue this journey because it is very hard to monetize, and it is very hard to like know where my fans are and where are what they want from me.
And what was that song about?
The song was about how hard the song was about, like the song name was Timeline, and you can also listen the song in the YouTube right now, and it was all about like the story and like what the story what I want to share. So
Nice. That's a nice narrative for you to get into your company. And obviously part of the reason why, or maybe a huge reason why you decided that this was a service you can give to other people in your position.
Sure. So I'll say that it is kind of like very difficult for especially for only artists and for K-pop itself as well, because K-pop is getting popular, but as it's getting popular, the K-pop was very traditional area, but it's getting more like international industry. So that's why we are kind of the artist itself has like getting more struggle because they are not very familiar with dealing with this international audience and international fans. So I thought this might be the area that we can change by having this kind of new way of platform that can solely focusing on this K-pop, and K-pop has its own like character, like uniqueness in a way that fans, how they are communicate and how they are act and how the fans are sending their some like active like love to their stars. So I thought it might be the chance for me who experienced these problems and also who can make the solution for international fans.
Now, going back to the business model here, Clayton, that graphic we showed was from research compiled by Goldman Sachs. How do investors view this industry of creator, this whole creator economy?
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking to the venture capital world right now, this is definitely an area of continued interest. We are seeing a lot of funding that is especially going towards tools helping people monetize. So if we look at the largest startup that's come out of the creator economy thus far, it's Patreon, a tool that is helping creators create premium content and work direct with their audiences as a way to monetize. And so when investors are looking at this space, I think that something that they sometimes struggle with is understanding the differentiating factors between a lot of the early stage startups, because many people are looking to work at opportunities because I think a lot of the opportunities are quite glaring in many cases. And so many young entrepreneurs are wanting to tackle these problems. And so when VCs are being venture capitalists are able to kind of go through and identify which tools, which companies really have a good chance of success, then there's a lot of capital that's flowing in. We are seeing tools that are helping with creators with their own personal life financing and getting credit based on their performance online. We're seeing startups like this get 9-figure funding. It's a really exciting time to be in this space, and especially with the level of growth that's going on. No investor is going to complain about an industry that's growing that quickly. And so I think there's only going to be more and more attention and focus in the upcoming years in terms of not just enabling advertising such as we do, but also enabling independent creators to be managing their businesses, as well as creating additional monetization tools and options, such as providing supply chain or helping people build individual merchandising stores. So I think that there's just an incredible amount of opportunities. To me, I'll always say that right now, the creator economy is the greatest time in human history for many people to become small business owners. This is built-in distribution channels. It's audiences that are monetizable. The world has never been more digital in terms of being able to deliver product, whether that product is content or otherwise. And so, yeah, I think that this is a really exciting time, both for entrepreneurs and investors.
Speaking of exciting times, I want you to take a look at this. Now, this footage we're seeing is from marketing events organized by Kooky. Certainly looks like a lot of fun for your fans, but I'm sure it is hard work and long hours creating all that fun, Hami. I also understand that you travel around a lot, and Clayton, you were saying you've just come back from Singapore and Hong Kong yourself just a few hours ago. So my question first to you, Hami, is why do you need to travel so much if all of this is online?
Sure, good question. So yeah, as you said, I travel a lot, but I mean, like, our team also travel a lot. So even the Japan, our CCO has been there, and he also prepared for the event. So I would say that we also have a lot of offline events. So it's even like last year, we had about 90 events in like 17 cities, so that we could like attract around like 150,000 fans. So I would say that the offline experience, like physical, and the online experience, like the digital one, cannot like replace each other, but we there's some synergies we can create. So like fans, even like the K-pop fans, they are very active and they are very hyper engaged. So they want to have this kind of local activities and local events that can enjoy. So this Japan, like the Tokyo event, was the random play dance, and we also provided the fans that the venue that they can meet their fans. So it was more likely that we can have their like we can create the local and strong communities, so that it can also convert to Kooky's online fans, and they can have their they can continue their like interactions in online as well. So I would say that the offline event and online community is the Kooky's kind of one of the uniqueness features that we are growing.
Right, Clayton, is having a great brand enough? Is that going to just sustain the influencers and followers, just having that brand name?
I think no, but I think that is also something that we're already moving beyond. What I think will end up being really important is finding the sustainable economic model between brands and creators. Making sure that there is more transparency around pricing for advertising, because right now a lot of creators are operating with such a low level of transparency as to what other creators are getting paid, or even what their partners are paying to other creators. And I think when that's happening, you create a very inefficient market. And I think the more inefficient the market is, the more likely it is that there's not going to be sustainable strategies. And so I think as I'm seeing brands be a little bit more cautious with where their marketing spend is going, a portion of this is making sure that the money that is exchanged between the brand and the creators, the payment that's being made, is making sense in terms of developing a long-term sustainable influencer marketing strategy. And I think that that's going to be very critical for brands as they are working long term. Because again, this industry, there's a lot of money going into it, and there has been a lot of development in the last few years. And so many companies are beginning to treat this like core strategy and not an experimental budget. But with being treated as core strategy comes a higher bar in terms of how the marketing budget has to be performing.
So Hami, how are you making your brand remain relevant? There's so much competition out there.
Sure. So we have our own platform in application and website, and so I mean, like, we have our service, and it is also related to our B2B business model. So we started from K-pop because K-pop is the most like popular, and it is growing fast, like 30% per year. And so what we are doing is that we also quantify the artist popularity, so the artists can know where their fans are and how much they are popular in this city. So I want to take some example that there has been some artists who are working with us, and he's the boy group is like, she has some like social followers, around 60,000 social followers. But I would say that it doesn't mean, and it doesn't directly connect with the monetization and revenue, because social followers can be very general and casual listeners. So Kooky are focusing on genuine fans who can directly relate to artists like the vitality. So we analyze our own engine, and we could figure out that even he said that even he like predict that the boy group's fans are only in Korea and Japan because they didn't do any, international marketing. But we figure out that by our engine, the group's fan are the top 3 countries for the group's fans are located in Philippines and Peru and Argentina. So, which is quite surprising. So we are focusing on this data side so that we can, bridge the gap between the artist and international fans.
Right. Those locations of where your fans are, it's pretty curious and surprising. But the fact that you're based in Seoul makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's got a massive entertainment industry. It's got, a huge creative industry also. So Clayton, why Taiwan for you?
Yeah, actually, I've been in Taiwan for almost 6 years now. And I've really enjoyed making Taipei my home. One of the big reasons that I'm here is because of the individuals that I started the company with. As an entrepreneur, finding your early partners are so incredibly critical. That's, I could go to a city that maybe makes it a shorter flight to talk to investors or to customers or whoever it is. But at the end of the day, the people I trusted and that trusted me to build our core team around, they were here in Taipei, and I couldn't be happier. We've started this business almost 4 years ago now, and I'm very happy every day with my decision to be here in Taipei.
I guess that's key, isn't it? Trust and being able to work together. Now, the great thing for creators is that they can be anywhere, connecting with audiences and markets all around the world. And there's also the time flexibility afforded to them. It may be a hobby or a side hustle. Now, this graphic shows the common types of creators and how seriously they take their work. Nowadays, 2 out of 5 creators make it a full-time business. That's an indication of how far the creator economy has come as an established industry. Now, Hami, people, are at the heart of audience monetization, more so than any other industry. How do you use the technology and data, which I will get Clayton to weigh in on, to grow Kooky as a business?
Sure. So we could collect the data from all over the world, like the cities. So, and we also, as I told you, we also quantify the artist popularity by cities, not like countries, so that artists can also get the real data from the audience, from the fans. So I would say that casual listeners, like the general audience, there are social, they can know where their audience are by Spotify and Instagram and YouTube. But I mean, in Kooky, there are more engaged fans, so that they can know more about where their loyal fans are, who are very directly related to their their vitality. So I mean, by this we are working with B2B customers who are entertainment and agencies in Korea, and who are even in Singapore, and who are in Europe, who are doing the promoter, and also the agencies, advertisement agencies, who want to select their model but want to select in K-pop celebrities. So they want to do a K-pop concert, and they want to select a K-pop model, but they don't know much about individuals in K-pop. So we are helping them to decide by data-driven decision, and we can help them persuade more by using our data, using our popularity index engine, so that we can also predict how the concert would be, how many audience and how many how capacity would be good for this artist concert in Singapore, so that we can forecast the concert ticket sales, and also the how much the capacity would be.
Now, in an industry which is kind of driven by emotion and trends, and how important is data-driven decisions, as Hami had mentioned, Clayton, and how do you think AI is going to start playing a role, or has it already started playing a role in this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a huge part of what AI can kind of enable for us is give us a better understanding at scale, because there's so many creators. We're talking millions across several platforms. And so there's no way we're going to be able to individually or manually sort of take notes or have understanding of these creators. And so AI comes in the form of natural language processing, for example, where we're able to better understand what people are talking about, be able to put them in specific categories of the type of content that's relevant to them. But, actually, at the end of the day, we end up referring to ourselves more than a marketing company, even more than a creator economy company, as a data analytics company, because that's really what we do at our core. I see us kind of as building several products, services and products on top of a data analytics basis. And the way that this has enabled brands as well as creators is, one of my favorite things is, people who are really high performing and have really high potential, it doesn't matter how small or large they are, the algorithm helps them come out. It treats it as a meritocracy. People who are able to perform well, people who work hard and are consistent, are growing their audience, regardless of the level of attention that they might be getting from brands naturally, have algorithms and have these systems help push them to the top and show their capabilities as a creator. And so I think that even though this is a very emotional and human-driven industry, at the end of the day, we're talking about demographics of audiences. We're talking about performance metrics. We're talking about engagements, click-through rates, conversions. And with all these things in mind, it's important that from the very beginning, we're having a data-oriented point of view, doing the even initial influencer selection if a brand were to go out and be running a campaign.
I feel like we need a whole other show to talk about data and what that's doing for this entertainment industry and this whole creative industry. Thank you both so much. Hami Kim, founder and CEO of Kooky, Clayton Jacobs, co-founder and CEO of CreatorDB. Thank you both so much for your time. It's been great to have this conversation. And for our viewers everywhere, it has been good to have your company. If you've enjoyed today's episode or have anything you'd like to add to the dialogue, be sure to follow us and join the conversation on our social media. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay connected.